Salam Shamim Abba. What's your controversial call?
Walaikum Salam, Talha. Thank you for inviting me. I think one of the things that I've been putting the horn a lot about um, is the definition of freelancers versus remote workers. And if somebody hears this, they're gonna be like, कि इनका जो है ना वो इसी पे अटक गया है, इनकी सोई इस पे अटक गई है. So because it matters to me, it matters to a lot of the people around me. इसके हमारे यहाँ जो freelancer की definition है, is a self-employed individual offering digital services globally and locally without an employment contract, right? और ये लोग जो है वो remittance लेकर आते हैं in foreign currency into Pakistan, which is why when they get registered with PSEP or even outside of PSEP, they have to pay a very, very minimum, if I remember correctly, 1% tax. If they get registered with PSEP, they get to pay 0.25% tax. Now that's fine and that's okay because that helps us bring more and more foreign exchange remittance into the country. What is the flip side to it? A remote worker himself also identifies as, a remote worker identifies himself also as a freelancer. The remote worker, if he works with a remote with an international company, doesn't have to pay that tax. With everybody in the company, at least every senior in the company is looking towards a remote job. When this is happening, we're getting a brain drain in the country where companies in the country are suffering and suffocating with the absence of, good talent that they can actually retain because they can't beat it. Even if they pay their employee as much as he would get paid remotely, these guys still have to pay up to a 35% tax, whereas that person doesn't. So I'm not saying take that opportunity away from them, but I'm saying give an equal opportunity to the employee who's working in a tax company in Pakistan. I am happy to pay my employee maybe as much as he or she is getting paid remotely, but what about the tax that they have to pay on top of it? Right? So I'm not going to be responsible of paying the tax as well. The government has to step in and give some sort of a leeway, at least some to begin with, to the salaried employee within Pakistan.
That sounds very interesting because me personally, I'm not in the tech or service provider space as you. So what I understand is there has to be leeway for there to be growth. People preferring to work here rather than there, and उसकी वजह से फिर वो होता है. So when I understood you at first, you're saying कि people should identify them correctly, where either you're a remote worker or you're a freelancer, and then also because of that taxation wala, where you have to pay 0.5% tax and 35% here. So a lot of people are more inclined towards freelancer work than your remote working.
So not freelancer. They were inclined. It's not about that. They're more inclined towards remote jobs. So getting a remote job is not freelancing. Freelancing is when I have 5 customers and they pay me and I'm doing work for them. And I'm not an employee with them, right? But remote employee is that when my employee is sitting also outside of Pakistan and paying me from there. But I'm not a freelancer. So that's my problem. So when an employee who works with me in Pakistan finds out that if I become a remote employee, I don't have to pay any taxes or very, very negligible amount of tax. He or she goes and starts looking for these remote employment jobs. And what happens is we lose senior resource. We are losing senior resources left, right, and center as an industry. So they are going for these remote jobs.
So
that an industry which is still young. Sorry. That way, there's an industry which is still young. You're suffocating that industry, right? Just for the sake of, another gain. You're suffocating an industry that's actually bringing you more revenue or more, remittance than the freelancing. It's the whole of freelancing itself, including the remote, including whatever hanky panky is going on. And I'm not going to get into that. Including all of that, you are still a lot of putting you a lot more than the 3 billion that we're bringing already, right?
Agreed. Now that you've said that, I understand that, and because of those, you're again. So Pakistan is losing. No, it's not just losing on out on the talent के लोग बाहर जाते हैं, but बाहर यहाँ पर बैठ के लोग prefer करते हैं बाहर का काम करना because of all that is happening. One thing that I started पिछले दो session से कि I don't we didn't used to do this before, but what's maybe a solution where the government gives leeway or what happens?
I am okay. I don't want to pull something out of somebody who's getting a leeway. But what I'm saying is, ये जो रेगुलर एम्प्लॉइज हैं, जो कंपनी, उनको भी तो कुछ लीवे देना भाई. टेक इंडस्ट्री आपके लेके आ रही है ना अच्छा खासा रेवेन्यू, तो उनको भी तो देना लीवे. तो अगर आप उनको उनको ना कम करें, आप उनको ये रिमोट वर्कर्स को ये दें. बट आप जो एक तो ये कि डेफिनेशन से रिमोट वर्कर है, वो फ्रीलांसर नहीं है. What they're doing right now is registering themselves as freelancers and you know um, uh, cashing this opportunity. एक तो वो ये गलत हो रहा है, जो कि आप उसको बहुत जल्दी ठीक कर सकते हैं अगर आप उसकी डेफिनेशन को ठीक कर लें. ठीक है. और दूसरा आप ये कर सकते हैं कि जो इस वक्त लोकल एम्प्लॉई है, जो लोकल कंपनीज में काम करते हैं, उनकी टैक्स स्लैब को नीचे लाएं, ताकि वो उनको ये फ्रीलांसर डेडिकेट रिमोट वर्कर्स और लोकल वर्कर्स, उनकी टैक्स स्लैब सेम हो, ताकि वी डोंट हैव दिस इशू. और मीट समवेयर मिड 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 इस कुछ को नीचे लाए ना टू बिगिन विद.
Agreed upon that.
That's what I'm saying.
So
That's the solution.
okay, so basically what we're doing is where हम कह रहे हैं पहले तो अपनी terms को सही तरह define करें if you're a remote worker or if you're a freelancer. Secondly, verification on these two things गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से कि भाई जो फ्रीलांसिंग कर रहे हैं वो अपने आप को एज ए रिमोट वर्कर कर रहे हैं, रिमोट वर्कर अपने आप को एज ए फ्रीलांसर रजिस्टर कर रहे हैं. एंड सेकेंडली यू आर नॉट सेइंग टू यार इन लोग से आप लीवे लें, लेकिन बल्कि यार इनको भी थोड़ा सा रिलीफ दे दें जो हमारे
Exactly.
and I think it's
Exactly.
or the amount of people that I'm talking to about taxation on the working class and everything, it's not a controversial take, but it's a frustrating take where everyone's frustrated. Yeah, so I think that's it. That was, I think, a good call to have. Jazakallah khair. And yeah, I think a lot of people will interact with this rather than our last couple of videos. Jazakallah khair.